They thought silence would destroy you. They thought if they pushed you hard enough, far enough, deep enough into the shadows, you would crumble. They thought if they whispered behind your back, doubted you, mocked you, or left you in the cold long enough, you would finally break. But here you are, breathing, standing, rising. And the wildest part? You're quieter than ever. Because your peace is the very thing they never prepared for. They planned for your anger. They planned for your reaction. They planned for your collapse. But they never, ever planned for your peace. They didn't expect that your silence would be their punishment. Let's be honest, they wanted a show. They wanted chaos, drama, noise, anything that would prove they still had power over you. They wanted you pacing the room, replaying conversations, questioning your worth, drowning in self-doubt. They wanted you chasing explanations, begging for clarity, searching for closure like a lost traveler begging for a compass. They wanted your voice shaking, your hands trembling, your mind spiraling. They expected you to panic, to collapse, to shatter, because in their story, you were supposed to be fragile. They expected tears, arguments, impulsive decisions, anything that screamed, "You got to me." But reality? Oh, reality hit them harder than any revenge ever could. You didn't fall apart. You folded inward. You went silent. You disappeared into your own sanctuary. And that terrified them, because they suddenly realized something. You don't fight the way they do. You don't crumble the way they hoped. You don't bleed on command. You evolve quietly. You shift internally. You strengthen invisibly. Your absence spoke louder than your anger ever could. They expected reaction. Instead, they got transformation. There's a strange kind of power in the moment you stop explaining yourself. There's a shift, subtle at first, when you stop telling your side of the story, stop proving your worth, stop trying to convince people to see you clearly. And in that stillness, something ancient awakens inside you. You start rebuilding, not with noise, but with intention. Slowly, piece by piece, you reclaim yourself. Every morning you rise again, even when your heart is tired. Every night you forgive yourself for the time you wasted caring about people who treated you like an option. Every breath becomes a declaration. I choose myself. You walk through fire differently now, not like a victim, but like someone who has learned the language of flames. You breathe through the smoke. You navigate the ashes. You rebuild from the embers. This is where you started to become dangerous, not because you sought revenge, but because you stopped needing it. You realized that peace wasn't something people could give you. It wasn't something they could take away. Peace wasn't external. It was internal, sacred, untouchable. And the more you protected it, the stronger you grew. Your peace became your armor. Your silence became your fortress. Your growth became your answer. They thought the darkness would consume you, but instead, the darkness refined you, like gold under pressure, like diamonds under the earth, like storms forging rivers. You didn't just survive what they did, you transformed because of it. This is the part they never imagined. This is where they start to unravel, because nothing confuses a person more than watching someone they tried to break rise with calmness in their eyes. They expected rage, but all they got was indifference. They expected collapse, but all they saw was composure. They expected you to lose your mind, but instead, you found it. And now they're the restless ones. They're the ones replaying conversations. They're the ones overthinking. They're the ones wondering, why aren't you reacting? Why aren't you breaking? Because here's the truth. People who thrive on chaos suffocate in your peace. They can't handle a version of you who no longer bends, breaks, or begs, a version of you who doesn't raise your voice but raises your standards, a version of you who isn't loud but unshakably calm. It eats at them, it twists inside them, it haunts them, because they don't know what you're thinking, they don't know where you're going, they don't know what you're planning. Your silence becomes a mirror, and they're forced to face their own behavior. Your stillness becomes a storm, because it reminds them of the chaos within themselves. Did they really think you'd stay broken? Did they really think you'd stay small? Did they really think you'd keep seeking validation from people who offered none? Your peace became a language they don't speak, a territory they can't enter, a power they can't touch, and that terrifies them. This is where your rebirth becomes undeniable. You start moving differently, thinking differently, walking differently. You begin to realize the world isn't against you. It was preparing you. Every betrayal sharpened you. Every loss humbled you. Every disappointment redirected you. You grew in places you never expected. You strengthened muscles you didn't know you had. You discovered layers of yourself that only pain could reveal. Your heart, wiser. Your mind, clearer. Your spirit, untouchable. You learn to sit with your emotions without drowning in them. You learn to walk away without explaining yourself. You learn to choose peace over proving a point. And suddenly, you become the storm they warned others about, not loud, not violent, but powerful in your stillness. You become the calm eye of the hurricane, the mountain that doesn't move, the light that doesn't flicker. Every step you take sends shock waves. Every boundary you set redefines your world. Every moment you choose peace, they feel it like thunder under their feet. And then, the crown appears. Not a literal crown, but the invisible one you place on your own head. The crown of self-worth. The crown of resilience. The crown of, I no longer chase, I attract. Peace becomes your throne, self-respect becomes your kingdom, growth becomes your scepter, and because of that, your silence becomes louder than their insults, your calmness becomes colder than their anger, your healing becomes heavier than their lies, your peace punishes them more than your rage ever could. This is your era of power. Not the kind of power that announces itself, but the kind that radiates quietly and makes people stare without knowing why. You've become unrecognizable to the version of you who once tolerated the bare minimum. Unrecognizable to the version of you who once settled for breadcrumbs. Unrecognizable to the version of you who once begged for clarity, closure, or compassion. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need their attention. You don't need their apology. Because the validation you were looking for, it now comes from within. Their opinions are irrelevant. Their approval is meaningless. Their absence is a blessing. You have mastered something they never could. Inner peace. The peace of no longer needing to prove anything. The peace of letting go without hate. The peace of moving on without bitterness. The peace of knowing who you are, finally, fully, powerfully. And that is the greatest punishment of all, because they wanted you dependent, they wanted you reactive, they wanted you fragile. Instead, you became sovereign. Instead, you became whole. Instead, you became unstoppable. You became a living reminder that they never had the power to destroy you. They only had the power to reveal you. Your transformation is your revenge. Your evolution is your comeback. Your peace is your victory, and they can't touch it. They can't interrupt it. They can't diminish it, because the moment you realized your worth, you became untouchable. So now, breathe, not because you're finished, but because you're finally free, free from their expectations, free from their narrative, free from the weight of proving yourself. You've stepped into your new life with grace, strength, and unshakable calm. You've become the person who doesn't chase, doesn't break, doesn't beg. You've become the person who chooses peace over drama, growth over grudges, purpose over people-pleasing. And that peace? It's not accidental, it's not temporary, it's not fragile, it's earned, it's sacred, it's yours. Your peace is a force, a weapon, a shield, a home. And for those who tried to break you, your peace is their punishment, because nothing hurts them more than watching you rise without them. Nothing torments them more than seeing you smile after they tried to bring you to your knees. Nothing shocks them more than your silence, your calmness, your transformation. You are not who you were, and you will never be that person again. You've reclaimed your story, you've rebuilt your spirit, you've embodied your power. So step forward, not with anger, not with vengeance, but with the quiet confidence of someone who finally understands. Your peace is the final blow. Your peace is the loudest scream. Your peace is the ultimate victory. And from this day onward, guard it, protect it, honor it, because your peace isn't just your revenge. Your peace is your rebirth. You've walked through storms they thought would break you. You've stared into the darkness they hoped would swallow you whole. And now, as you stand in the quiet aftermath, you realize something terrifying for them and liberating for you. You are untouchable, not because the world suddenly bends to your will, not because they finally recognize your worth, but because you've built a fortress they can never penetrate, a fortress made of resilience, made of quiet confidence, made of unshakable peace. Every insult they threw, every betrayal they orchestrated, every lie they whispered, they were nothing more than sparks, and from those sparks you built fire. Not the fire that destroys, but the fire that illuminates, the fire that warms, empowers, and transforms. Did they really believe they could define you? Did they really think the shadows they cast would follow you forever? You've learned the secret they never will. Your life, your peace, your joy, these are yours to command. You move differently now. You speak differently. You see differently. You see the people who tried to dim your light, and instead of fear or anger, you feel pity. You see them chasing control, desperate for the attention they can no longer steal from you. You see the difference between reacting and responding, between surviving and thriving, and it humbles you in the most beautiful way. Because thriving doesn't need chaos, because winning doesn't need their permission, because peace is louder than any scream. Every step you take forward echoes in the spaces they once controlled. Every calm breath you take is a reminder of the strength they couldn't break. Every smile you allow yourself, every quiet victory you claim, every moment you rise above, they can feel it, even when you do nothing at all. This is the power of inner mastery. This is the art of transformation. This is what it means to take back your life, one choice at a time. So when they try to understand your silence, when they try to challenge your calm, when they hope you'll stumble, they fail. Because you've learned the most dangerous truth of all. Your peace cannot be stolen. Your growth cannot be denied. Your power cannot be touched. And in that moment, you finally understand the cruel irony. The harder they tried to destroy you, the stronger you became. The louder they screamed, the quieter your confidence grew. The more they doubted you, the more you proved yourself. Now, you don't just walk through life, you glide through it, not like someone who survived, but like someone who conquered, not like someone who reacted, but like someone who rules. Your peace isn't passive, it's active, it's deliberate, it's the ultimate punishment for those who underestimated you. And the best part, you didn't need to fight to claim it, you didn't need to argue, to shout, to prove a single thing. You simply became it, because they never realized this simple truth. The strongest warriors aren't the loudest, the fiercest leaders aren't the angriest, and the most unstoppable force in the universe is a soul at peace with itself.